Most traders think their best trades end too early because of fear. They imagine panic, weak hands, a lack of confidence. That explanation is comfortable and incomplete. The truth is quieter than that. Your best trades don't end early because you're afraid of losing money. They end early because something shifts internally the moment the trade starts working. I've watched this pattern for years in others. And if I'm being honest, in myself, the trade moves in your favor. Not aggressively, not explosively, just enough to change your internal state. And that's where the real problem begins. Before the entry, everything is clean. You had rules, you had structure, you knew exactly why the trade made sense. After the entry, the market fades into the background. Your mind takes over. You're no longer managing a setup. You're managing a feeling. A small profit appears, and with it comes relief. Relief that you were right. Relief that this one didn't fail immediately. That relief is dangerous because the trade hasn't proven anything yet. But emotionally, you feel like it has. I've noticed that the most disciplined traders don't exit early when they're uncomfortable. They exit early when they feel calm. That's the paradox most people miss. The moment the trade feels safe, you start protecting it. You stop thinking in probabilities. You start thinking in outcomes. This is where phrases like, let me just lock something in, or I can always re-enter, quietly justify the exit. Not because the market told you to leave, but because your nervous system asks for closure. And it happens most often on your best trades. The clean ones, the ones that move smoothly, without drama. Losing trades are easy to hold. They keep your attention. They keep your mind engaged. Winning trades relax you. And relaxation in trading often leads to interference. I've seen traders who can hold losers far longer than winners. Not because they enjoy pain, but because pain keeps the mind busy. Profit creates space. And in that space, doubt walks in. You start imagining reversals that haven't happened. You start seeing danger where there is none. You start solving problems that don't exist yet. And so the trade ends. Not because the structure broke, not because conditions changed, but because internally the trade already felt complete. That's the uncomfortable truth. Your best trades don't end early due to lack of discipline. They end early because discipline quietly dissolves the moment emotional pressure drops. If this sounds familiar, it may be because you're already paying attention to the right things. Supporting this channel quietly helps this perspective reach traders who are trying to build restraint, not excitement. Subscribing is less about content and more about alignment. To understand why this happens, you have to separate decision-making from regulation. Most traders believe exits are analytical decisions. In reality, many exits are regulatory behaviors. They regulate emotion, not risk. When a trade goes your way, your brain receives confirmation, not confirmation of edge. Confirmation of self, that's powerful. It temporarily resolves uncertainty. And the human brain hates unresolved states. I found that early exits often come from a subtle need to finish something psychologically. To close the loop, the trade feels done emotionally, long before it's done structurally. This is why telling yourself to hold winners longer never works. You are arguing with the nervous system, not a belief. The system wants equilibrium. It wants certainty. It wants the tension to stop. So it finds a clean, reasonable sounding excuse to exit. This is where behavior engineering matters. Because willpower won't stop this pattern. Awareness won't either. You need constraints that remove discretion at the exact moment relief appears. In my own process, the biggest change didn't come from better analysis. It came from removing the ability to decide once a trade was working. That sounds extreme, but it's necessary. A simple example. If your trade plan allows you to take profit when it feels extended, you've already lost. Because feels extended is emotional language disguised as logic. Instead, exits must be predefined in a way that feels slightly uncomfortable when price reaches them. Not dramatic, just uncomfortable enough that your system wants to interfere. That discomfort is a signal you're doing it right. Another constraint that matters: time separation. No exit decisions during green candles. No exit decisions during momentum. Only during pauses. This rule alone eliminates a huge percentage of early exits because it forces the brain out of reaction mode. I don't trust myself when adrenaline is present, so I don't allow decisions there. That's not discipline. That's respect for human limitations. The goal isn't to hold forever. The goal is to make exits boring, predictable, mechanical, because the more meaningful a trade feels, the more dangerous discretion becomes. Your best trades end early when they feel personal, when they feel validating. The solution isn't emotional strength, it's emotional irrelevance. Structure doesn't make you rigid, it makes you quiet, and quiet is where consistency lives. Now zoom out. At the strategy level, this problem only shows up in certain environments. Clean trends, smooth continuations, trades that don't fight you. Choppy conditions don't create early exits. They create frustration. Early exits come from clarity, which means your strategy must explicitly define when clarity is allowed to play out. One simple framework: you're either in the discovery phase or a continuation phase. Discovery is volatile. Continuation is boring. Your job is not to extract maximum profit. It's to stay present through the boring part without interfering. So the strategy constraint becomes simple. Once continuation is confirmed, you are no longer managing upside. You are only managing invalidation. That's it. No scaling because it looks tired. No partial exits because it came too far. Only exit when the condition that justified continuation no longer exists. In my own trading, I had to accept something uncomfortable. My best trades would never feel exciting at the end. If they did, I was probably doing something wrong. The cleanest exits often feel late. Not reckless, just emotionally unsatisfying. And that's the point. You're not there to feel smart. You're there to execute something that doesn't need you anymore. When traders say, "I left so much on the table," what they often mean is, "I interrupted something that was working without me." Your best trades don't end early when you trust your analysis. They end early when you trust yourself too much in the moment. Control comes from knowing when you should be absent. That's the quiet skill. If this way of thinking resonates, you recognize it in future trades. Quiet trader is for those who value restraint over reaction. This is Quiet Trader.